Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Shop Stool podcast. This is episode 10 of season 7. I hope everyone's doing well today. We have another guest, which is very exciting. Someone from my, I can't say hometown because obviously I'm not originally Australia, but a place that I lived in for 3 years and I still think is the best city across Australia. So all the way from Adelaide. Welcome to the show, Bolaji, Teniola. How are you this morning?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Cheers
no
for
problem.
coming on.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah, going through your Instagram profile and your website, there's some pretty intense design elements going on, and I'm excited to get into it. So why not, for everyone who's listening to the show who doesn't know you, just give us a bit of a background of how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, for me, it was a long journey, but it all started, I suppose, during my bachelor's of industrial design at RMIT University in Melbourne. And there it was a good foundation that I was able to acquire during those studies. And then from that, gained a little bit of industry experience, but things, I guess, took off for me once I had a chance to get an opportunity to do an internship overseas in the Netherlands at Piet Heineck Design Studio and Manufacturing. And I always pronounced that incorrectly, so any Dutch listeners, I apologize.
I studied in Holland for 6 months, and my Dutch pronunciations are far worse than that. So yeah, that's all right.
I'm terrible. But yeah, from there, I got into furniture design. I was exposed to it in terms of the manufacturing, the designing, the process and development of it. It's, Netherlands is home to a lot of fantastic designers in that particular field as well. So getting to go to Dutch Design Week and see that for the first time and be involved was a fantastic experience. And from that, my interest in furniture design was piqued. So coming back to Australia, I enrolled in the associate degree of furniture design. And that was a fantastic time for me because it was something that I really wanted to do. And I kind of took to it like duck to water and learned so much from all the tutors and technicians there as well. And they were fantastic to kind of be around, as well as the other students that I studied with. And since then have just been jumping into all sorts of opportunities, getting a chance to exhibit and showcase work and do competitions and just put myself out there as much as I can, developing my process and my practice at the same time. So that's a very condensed version.
That's a solid bio. That's like asking ChatGPT, write my bio, and that was absolutely perfect. That's good stuff, man. Can I ask, with your furniture design, was that pre or post COVID that you did it at RMIT?
That was pre and during. So
you
I graduated
overlap.
during. I graduated in 2020 from the associate degree. So that was during the pandemic. So it was an interesting time because we had moments where we had to obviously shut down the school, so we couldn't go in, and then there'll be brief moments where things reopened. So we had to rush back into the workshop, make as much as we could, and then get out again. But I mean, it was a pressure cooker environment, but I think it helped in some ways, I suppose. So
Did you end up finishing pieces? Did you end up finishing pieces at home or anything like that? Is that like, or
there was a bit of stuff that we had to do at home, definitely. But we were lucky in that we were able to get into the workshop quite frequently during the reopening periods and just make as much and as quickly as we could. Cool. So I got a lot of stuff done in the workshop as well.
I think you might be our first guest who actually has formal training in product design.
Yeah.
Would I be right, Robin?
Yeah,
Joey?
right.
Do you think of any others? Maybe
Not formal. We've had lots of them with a lot of experience. As you say, not formal training. Yeah.
And did you know at any point during that product design part of the course that furniture was your thing, or was it the going to the Netherlands that is what really reaffirmed to you that furniture was the side of product that you were really interested in?
Yeah, during my bachelor's, I had absolutely no interest in furniture, actually. I for whatever reason, I just did not want anything to do with it. So it definitely was spending time in the Netherlands that opened my eyes to that world. And then I thought back to my time in my bachelor's, and I thought, why didn't I, do this then? I could have learned so much, but I, picked it up eventually.
It's funny, Brian. You talk about not going into furniture, and maybe this is to you as well, Bolaji. What with that sort of study and training, what other directions would you take it?
In industrial design?
Yeah. For me, it automatically goes to furniture.
I mean, products in general. That was my goal, to join a design studio, and just kind of work on whichever projects that were handed to me. So if that was furniture, if that was, I don't know, any, home appliances or toys or whatever products that might come my way from that studio. That was my goal. Wasn't really thinking beyond that. But then graduating at the time, there weren't too many opportunities that were available, and the places that were hiring weren't hiring me. So I had to find my way freelancing and figuring out different ways of trying to make it within that particular aspect of the field. But I guess it was one of the good things to not happen for me, because it then took me onto this whole other journey.
Yeah.
I suppose, Robin, you think about way back to our interview with Neil from Discommon. Like, if you're thinking about a product designer, he's obviously trained in engineering rather than product design, but I mean, his practice now encompasses literally anything.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's bringing out all these different products online, ranging from I guess, as you say, appliances,
bags,
glassware,
watches,
it's all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
You seem to have landed on a particular style as well, especially going through your Instagram feed. It's this. I'm going to try and describe it for everyone listening. It looks like you're taking timber shavings and creating, or timber, I guess shavings infers short pieces. They're very long strips, and you're turning that into furniture with the goal of taking waste products from timber and reusing it. Would that be a fair description of it?
Yeah, perfect. Nailed it.
It's like paper mache almost, but wood.
Yeah. Where did that come from? Where did that idea come from?
I mean, that's you nailed it. You nailed it, Joey. That's one of the inspirations, was looking at paper mache. So borrowing a process or technique from one discipline and applying it to another. And the first instance of it was during the associate degree, during COVID. So one of the projects that I worked on at home was figuring out a way to play with this waste material, and essentially just having a play and figuring out, how to work with it, how to manipulate it into different forms. And the first iterations of it, of course, were terrible, but I just kind of stuck with it. But I guess the inspiration is the material itself. And I collected the shavings from the workshop. And at the time, I also worked at Fab9 Makerspace. I don't think it's still running. And there were some events that were run there. And of course, during the sweeping and cleaning up, I collected shavings from there, which was quite weird at the time. And people were kind of like, why are you doing this? But there was something about it that
the wood's up on the bench, mate. It's not on the floor.
And I was quite intrigued by it, the way it coiled and the transparency or the diffusion of light through it as well. And I thought there's something in this, but at the time I didn't really know what I could do with it. And having a chance to play around with that material during the associate degree was, I guess, a revelation or an aha moment for me.
Yeah, because as a product, to me, essentially you're just making plywood, and you can make it in any shape because the shavings are so small, which is genius. Then my second thought is the bottleneck for that kind of art is that next to nobody is using hand planes anymore to get enough shavings as waste. Like you could go to any industrial workshop and that you might find one hand plane that is blunt as shit.
And covered in dust.
It just doesn't work. And so that becomes the bottleneck, I suppose. But
yeah, no, you're right. And that my first thinking was, I'm going to go to all these workshops and collect all these shavings. And use that as a chance to kind of get into these workshops and meet the makers and all this stuff. And that was the problem I ran into, is that no one had shavings. And the shavings that they did have, I couldn't really work with them because there was a particular thickness that I had to acquire to be able to manipulate them.
Yeah.
And so I just turned to hand planing myself, so collecting offcuts of timber and then planing those down. And then from there, figuring things out.
Because presumably you need the length as well.
Oh, sorry, you go ahead. Ron.
And I'm thinking of all those Instagram sort of viral videos in Japan, where there's that competition to get as long and as thin a strip. That's where you need to be looking.
Yeah.
Can I ask, Bolaji? They're pine shavings, aren't they?
I work with pine primarily, but I also use walnut and European beech. Those three have been the most fruitful, I suppose, in terms of the shavings. I've tried other species of timber as well, but I haven't been able to get the same quality of shavings that I'd like.
I think that's one thing that maybe addresses the bottleneck that Joey identified. Like, you're working with, especially in the case of pine, like quite an affordable material.
Yeah.
And it's turning something that people use for, I don't know, jigs or prototyping into fine art and furniture.
Yes.
It's a really interesting movement. You sort of see it with, I don't know if you guys saw Alexandra's Pontonio's chair for the Robin Boyd Foundation that was made from it was made from a pine tree. I can't remember the exact species of pine that was cut down outside a famous Robin Boyd house in Melbourne. And it's the same thing. It's that, trying to reimagine what's seen as a cheap, in inverted commas, material into something that's really fine and has meaning and depth. But yeah, that Athos light for me is just an absolute cracker. I love it.
Oh, thanks. I mean, that's kind of the thinking as well, trying to add value, I suppose, to an otherwise, undervalued material. That wasn't really the main focus, but it just naturally developed into that.
That Athos light, so for everyone listening, is sort of a cylindrical T shape with some lighting within it. How big is that? Obviously, you can't get a sense of scope or size on the pictures.
So the first one, I'm trying to think of way to describe it. The first one I made was one of three, part of the Silo project for Melbourne Design Week 2023, I believe. And that is probably 300 mil high.
Okay, right.
So quite small.
Yeah.
The second one that I did, which was for the 100 Light Show this year for Melbourne Design Week, that one is much bigger. So about, I'm trying to think. Wait, no, sorry, I got my measurements wrong.
I think I've seen a photo of you sticking your head into the big one, right? So it's,
I'm trying to think of the measurement. It's quite large. It's quite large. The first one is much smaller than 300 mil actually. It's probably like around 150, 200. But the second one is much bigger, and I wish I had the measurements just to like snap away in my head. But
more just, I think a head is a great one to reference because we all know what the size of a head is.
Yes.
So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that second one for me, I really like the look of that. I think that's really nice. How are you joining the pieces together? Because on that second one in particular, it looks like you can't see straight through it. Is there sort of the structure? Is it all hidden inside internally?
Yeah. So the second one has a metal armature made by Nat Penny, who very fortunately was able to assist with that or fabricate it for me. And that allowed me to work with the shavings in a much different way than I had before. Whereas the first one, it's all held up on its own. There is no internal structure that holds up that form. It's all held together with an organic adhesive that I make at home as well, which allows the timber to expand and contract depending on its environment. And it also dries clear as well. So it's quite useful.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the adhesive because you can't see anything. There's no signs of anything. So
can we ask how you make it, or is that a trade secret?
Not so much a trade secret. It's essentially the same type of paste that's used for those outdoor posters that you see out in the street. But I just kind of changed the formula a little bit to work with the timber as well. And it works quite well. And that was another COVID lockdown experiment at home, essentially. That's helped out quite a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, in Adelaide at the moment. So that's where you are based. How do you find the design? I guess in the maker scene down there. Do you feel like you're well entrenched in it? Are you happy down there?
Yeah, quite happy. Being here, going to 4 years now. Didn't expect to be here for as long as I have, but have been enjoying every year that I have been here. And there's so many amazing, incredibly talented artists, designers, makers out here, doing fantastic things, nationally and on a global scale as well, which is fantastic to see. And it's just been great to be around these, amazing, talented people, and also coming into it, realizing that, you're not the big fish. Not that I thought that, but it's good to see people doing things in a much more larger scale, or doing things at a higher level, and making you want to hone your skills and just better yourself as a designer or a maker or a craftsperson.
Are you like, I don't know how, it's always tricky to ask. I always imagine an artist, like to me, you're clearly more of an artist than anything, and some design fits in with that. And I don't understand how artists make a living. So are you making a living as a freelance to maker of things, or selling your design skills, or do you have to supplement it all? And I love the idea of just being an artist, but I never see how that works out.
I mean, if you find a way to make it work out, then you let me know.
Yeah, right.
But there's a lot of supplementation. So there's I kind of work quite a few side gigs to be able to fund my practice.
Yeah.
And I do sell work, but of course, it's not enough to be able to live off of at the moment.
Yeah.
So slowly building up, slowly developing my practice so that hopefully it can be self-sustaining, but that's still, a long ways to go. And I know that as well. It might not, it's not going to happen anytime soon. And I'm not too worried about that. I
think it's important to talk about, and just in the sense of somebody, perhaps a school leaver or someone who is has the ambition of anything to do with creativity. It's never really talked about that it's difficult to make a living, and they might see someone like yourself you've got awards and you've got lots of exposure and you've got really great work, but that alone is still not enough to actually pay the rent by itself. And
that's right.
I think it's important that anybody, young person, whoever, really understands that there's not some like golden level of artist that you suddenly just start getting paid money from somewhere out of the sky.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Thank you for your honesty on that, because it is a tricky subject, and it's something that we always try to sort of level up with people on this podcast, is that, all three of us have all had side hustles, at different points, and it is just something that you've got to face. The reality of the business is tough. So when you're saying you sell work, is it through a gallery, or do people commission you directly, or how do clients find your work?
Through exhibitions mainly.
Right.
So quite a few exhibition pieces I've been fortunate enough to sell. And from there, client base builds. But as I mentioned, it's not, and I'm not raking in the cash through that as well. So it's still not enough to, I guess, fund the entire practice, but it does help fund the next project, I'd say, or parts of it.
Yeah.
And it's such an important thing, that having the money to do the next thing, I think, is just the key to successful up and coming designers and makers. It's a brilliant point.
Yeah, giving you that space to be able to think about something other than, trying to
Yes,
keep the lights on. Yeah. Do you ever do furniture work on a commission level? I mean, is that something that you would consider? Or the reason I ask is because we seem to have guests who are either furniture makers or designers. And the ones who are designers used to be furniture makers until they got out of it, like they left purgatory, and they've been able to do design as much as they want. Is that something that you would ever consider going, I say, back to or doing?
Yeah, I have done so a little bit in the past, and I'd love to do more of that as well. But at the moment, in terms of scheduling and time, I guess my focus has been on the exhibitions, on focusing on competitions, and I guess building my profile. But I would love to get back into, furniture making or learning more in that area as well, and doing commissions as well.
Yeah.
But for me, it's
You're certainly a prime example. Like when we're saying to young designers who are graduates or just getting into the craft, like of putting yourself out there, like the amount of exhibitions that I've seen your work in, and the publications it's appeared in, the awards it's appeared in, like kudos to you. Like you have clearly put a hell of a lot of effort into exposing your business, and that's a tough thing to do as a graduate. So yeah, well done, man.
Yeah, thank you. Just again from the associate degree, it was drilled into us just to put yourself out there, apply for things. You never know what's going to happen when you do apply for these things. You might win something, or for me, the main thing is to just put my stuff out there, get it in front of the judges, and build a network through that as well.
And speaking of judges, something we've talked about with these exhibitions in the past, and Joey's been the most vocal about this. Displaying your stuff to someone to critique can be quite a daunting task for some people. Are you pretty confident now? Because as Bryan says, you've done these many, many times according to your website. Are you pretty confident in your own work now and your own abilities, or do you still get quite nervous going into these exhibitions?
There's still nerves, definitely, but less so than when I first started putting myself out there, I'd say. And through just the constant barrage of putting myself out there over these years, getting an idea of where I fit, and understanding where my work might sit within that particular exhibition or competition, and if it aligns with what I'm doing. That's been the main thing for me as well. But yeah, definitely have a lot more confidence just putting myself out there now than I did when I first started doing it.
It's very interesting. Like a lot of people dump on tertiary education as, a waste of money, or, you can just go into the craft yourself. But that is one thing that I reckon tertiary education really does set people on the path for, having that self-confidence to, I don't know, critique your own work and then be able to stand up in front of a panel or put it on a pedestal and answer questions and ask yourself questions about it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's something that a lot of people we find that are makers that have come from different backgrounds and just sort of ended up as furniture makers, they then really struggle with that confidence and the imposter syndrome. And sure, everybody has a bit of imposter syndrome, but yeah, I still say to people that's one thing that tertiary education does so much better than any workplace, any schooling system. Like that's what you get from it.
It's kind of the corporate jargon of the corporate world. If you go into a C-level meeting for a big IT company, they're going to be throwing around terms and phrases that if you haven't studied officially, you're not going to know you probably know the same thing, but you got to talk about synergy and we'll come back around to that and use all those catchphrases.
Use all the
otherwise
buzzwords.
Otherwise you look like you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did being at university help with, I see you do some steel work, you've got some brass, and I think you've got a shimmer room divider. It looks like it's a piece of steel, kind of rebar or something. I don't know what the material is other than that, but did the school expose you to working with lots of different products, obviously other than timber, or is that something you've dived into yourself?
A bit of both. We were encouraged, of course, to explore different materials, and there were projects that allowed for that as well. And I guess it was onto us, the students, to take that and run with it in whichever direction that we wanted to go in. And for me, while I was studying, I wanted to try and work with as many different things as I could, because I thought this was a good chance to try different things, make mistakes, and see what sticks, essentially. With the room divider, just working with the technicians in the workshop and figuring out how to bend the steel was quite interesting. So it's hard to see in the photos, but the frame for that was curve bent instead of using a tube bender, just because in order for me to get those specific curves, I had to manipulate the steel in a particular way, and it turned out to be curve bending.
Right.
So learning about that with steel, and it's kind of counterintuitive because, you know, when you make too deep of a cut into the tube, it weakens that point as it bends.
Yeah.
But then learning about the welding points, and although I didn't get a chance to do the welding myself just because of the time constraints and with the lockdowns and everything happening, I was able to kind of see how it was done and understand how to work with that material to a certain point. By no means an expert in that particular area. And then cladding it with dichroic film and Tyvek as well, and getting a chance to work with those two materials and seeing how they work together.
What is that film? What did you say it is?
I was just about to ask that question.
It's dichroic film, from what I understand, is normally used to coat or cover a window. You kind of see it, I guess, in office spaces.
Right.
Normally, when they want to kind of add more interest to the space, to put this film over the glass walls, I suppose, within the space to kind of capture the light in an interesting way. I could be wrong. I'm sure there's someone who's going to fact check me on that.
I'm Googling as we talk.
And then the Tyvek, from more recent years, I see it used a lot for like packaging for high-end furniture and sculptural art as well. But it's a really durable polymer material. That's also used for large-scale printing as well.
I've got one of Jocko's wallets he made out of that a few years, like 10 years ago. He made a whole bunch of wallets when he was making the Maker knife and stuff. So it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Yeah, you go.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, just a chance for me to work with those materials. Just kind of scratch that itch of curiosity and figure out if it's something that I like to work with, or if it's something that I can just, put aside. And I've been able to reuse the dichroic film for another project, for a cabinet that I made, which was shown, I've forgotten which year now, but at Craft ACT with a group show with other Jam Factory associates as well.
Where do you get the film from?
It's from.
I see it's a 3. I didn't realize it's a 3M product.
It is.
So it's quite a specific, unique product. Do you just buy it off the shelf?
You order it. I'm blanking on the name. I'm trying to find the supplier. Starts with an S, I remember. And I think they're based in Victoria as well. Sorry, I've lost the name. Spices. There we are.
Spices. Okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Just reading through the technicals data, as you say. Yeah, you look at it from different angles and it displays different color. You can apply it to buildings, as you say. It's got some really cool graphs. It's on the 3M website if anyone's interested. It looks like a very, very unique product. Where did you find it? How did you find it?
And your guess is as good as mine.
I don't think I've ever seen this in my entire 40 years on this planet.
Yeah, right. I would have probably, come across it on another project or seen someone else use it in some way. I don't know if it's the exact one. I think for a rig design prize, Adam Goodrum might have used it. I don't know. That could be a different material, but I've seen it used in different places. And like yourself, then wondering, what is this thing? Where can I get it? How much is it? How do you work with it? And then finding out that it's at Spices, you can order it. And just kind of do with it as you will.
More on that piece, I didn't realize it was a steel tube, and you said it was kerf bent. And I don't know about Bryan and Robin. I've just never considered that steel workers used kerf cutting to bend products, but I've never heard of that. And on a
exactly
tube,
what I was thinking. As soon as Bolaji said that, I thought kerf bending steel. You just bend steel. You don't have to kerf cut it.
Well, I get it on a square. You can kerf is much easier to do something if it's square, but trying to bend a round bar is hard, let alone trying to kerf cut round stock in the right place. Like, I don't even know how that happens. Like, that seems very difficult.
Maybe it was naivety, I think.
Right.
Jumping into it, because it took me, once I got used to the distances I needed to create specific curves,
right,
it was quite quick for me just to kind of knock out each section of that frame and create those curves. But yeah, you're right. It is counterintuitive to kerf bend tube or round bar or anything like that.
Because then you also...
But again,
Sorry, carry on.
Oh, sorry. Again, just working with the limitations I had and trying to figure out a way around it in the workshop.
Because then you went on to making the X1 stool, what came first? The kerf cutting on the divider or the X1 stool?
The stool
was first.
Yes, okay, and then borrowing that technique and applying it to a different material.
Yeah.
And again, just curiosity. I was like, could I do this? How would it work? And then learning, about the strengths and weaknesses of that and understanding why people would not kerf bend steel tube as well. But again, just scratching that itch of curiosity and figuring out what I can do with this material, how far can I push it? And that kind of thinking has carried over into my practice.
I love that you mentioned naivete there a couple of times, because to me, that's why I always shied away from wanting to go to a university, because I didn't want to be told all the things. And then I feel like there's a certain amount of, it kills your curiosity a little bit, because you're told this is that, and this is that. And so you just don't try that experiment where you came at it from an ignorant point of view from the materials, and just tried it. And I love that aspect. And I think that's where the art comes from, where someone's just trying something that they should know better, perhaps, if they did some research, but actually it came out awesome.
Yeah,
I think, Joey, I reckon that's probably a shift in the education models of how design is taught now as well. Like,
yes,
it's less prescriptive, and this is the way to do something. And especially with courses like the RMIT furniture course and XLab at Melbourne Uni, they are really heavy about the materiality, exploring properties that, aren't obvious, and then failing and learning from the failures. Rather than learning from your successes, you learn more from the failures.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah. I will say, though, that my bachelor's was very much that. It was very structured. It was like you draw this way, you cut this way, you develop products this way, and after that, it was a long time to get back to following curiosity and just trying things.
Are you working with any new materials at the moment, or are you planning to get into anything new at the moment?
Been working with polycarbonate fluted sheeting as well, the roofing material.
Yeah.
And I've made a chair out of that and some lighting.
That chair, by the way, looks precarious in the photos. It just doesn't look like it's supposed to take a human weight.
It does, and it does. That's the thing. But I like that you said that, because to me it's interesting how this material that people trust to put on their roof, now when it's in a chair form, people are like, oh, I'm not sure about that. But I'm like, but it's on your roof. But,
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, so you're working with that. Is there anything else that you're dabbling in that you're currently messing up with the intention of figuring out later on?
I guess this is more of an artistic piece. Been playing around with like tiling and grouting, and I mean it's not anything profound, but just kind of learning about that process as well, and quite therapeutic in a way. Just kind of sit there and you're grouting some tiles. Can't say too more about that just yet. It's something weird.
Yeah, cool.
But cool. Again, just developing my process with the timber shavings and trying to figure out different forms I can make, and I guess develop that particular aspect of my practice.
I reckon, Robin, it's pretty similar to Isabel's approaches. Sorry, my voice. Isabel's approach to design is just about, just trying something and seeing if it works. And it can be something that you have no experience in. Read a load of books about it, do a lot of research. But the most important thing is actually to have that tangible interaction with doing. So yeah, people go back. We apologize again about the audio quality for that show. But yeah, it was a brilliant interview with Isabel.
That's what, going back to what I was saying before about earning a living. If you're worried about earning a living and you need to make income like I do, I just take the jobs that come, and there's no time for experiment or fun. And if you're in a position like you are, to take the time, and that's really what it is having the time to play, and then you discover what works and what doesn't. And 99% of makers who are trying to make a living don't have that time, because someone comes to them and says, I want this thing, and all you can do is make that thing. There's no room for an experiment.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I figured, while I've got this opportunity to have the time to experiment, I may as well, use that as much as I can and go as far as I can in that experimentation and push it as far as I can, which of course doesn't leave time for commissions, but it does allow me to go into interesting journeys and try different things. Sorry, give me 1 second.
You're right. I'm struggling with this at the moment with the YouTube. One of the goals at the start of 24 was to really lean heavy into the YouTube side of things, but I just can't do it. Well, I mean, I can if I just don't sleep. Then I can,
or don't see your kids or something.
Or don't see my kids. Then I can do it.
Yeah.
But I just, I finish a day's work, and that's all hands on tools, building, making, making the money. And then I get onto my computer at 9 o'clock at night, and I'm like, right, time for work. No, I'm buggered. I'm done. Yeah. I'm ready for bed. And I always think back to that when we were sitting at the Wood Dust event in 23, watching the yarn, and up on stage was Matt Esley, Jimmy DeResta, April Wilkerson, and none of them had kids. Yeah. And it all went, there we go. That now makes sense. That's where life took me away from being famous.
I agree, 100%.
You'll get there.
Joey, I'm gonna circle back on this, because there's 4 people in this room, and there's only one idiot that would take on 2 bespoke spiral staircase builds. So to say that you just take on the job, like you're making it sound like you only build kitchen cabinets or something like that. It's just it's a different level. I think when you've reached your professional career, that a lot of that knowledge is now inbuilt and it's just second nature, really, that you're applying to the work. So you might not be going off and doing material investigations, but when somebody comes to you with an incredibly complex build, like, I don't think you're the kind of person that says no. You say, right, let me have a think about it, and then you come up with ways of making it work. So there is play in there. It's just done at a different level.
Yeah, and it's that that 1,000-yard stare when you're meant to be playing chess with your kids and you're just staring at the fridge trying to work out how to clamp 2 bits of wood together.
And your wife jumps in and says, "Are you okay? Where did you go?"
She thinks you've had a stroke or something.
That's it. And that is the curse and the blessing of being any kind of creative, is that you can't switch it off. I think, you're probably right, Brian. There's a certain amount of creativity that is taken for granted when you do it 24 hours a day for however many years. You get used to the same kind of problems cropping up. And I guess it could feel boring at times, but if you take a step back and you're like, I'm actually making this pretty cool thing, so I won't complain about it.
Yeah. So as we're coming to the end of the show, Bolaji, in terms of upcoming events or shows where people can see your work, where's the best place to go for that?
Adelaide. We've got, I don't know when this will come out, but Adelaide Design Week is happening from, I think, the 20th of August to the 24th of August this year. And there'll be a whole bunch of exhibitions and shows. I'm in 3 of them because I love keeping busy. And I'll be showing a mixture of new work and retrospective work as well across those 3 shows.
And where is the show? Where is it in Adelaide?
So there's one for Soft, curated by Callum Hurley and Andy Trevor Tran. Another called Motion, which is the main show for Adelaide Design Week. And then another called Clockwork at Soda Objects. And I believe, I don't know if I can plug the Instagram on here, but they've got on their website, just grabbing the name so I don't mess it up and someone yells at me.
Is that Adelaide Design Week that you're looking at?
Everywhere Adelaide. Yeah.
Oh, I miss that city, eh?
You're going to be chased out of Townsville if you're not careful, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere Adelaide.
Yeah, because Adelaide's changed a lot in the last 10 years. So I'm interested to hear where they are putting on these types of shows.
Yeah, there's quite a lot on. Like, there's a Sala festival that goes on as well, and you have the festival season normally at the start of the year. So you've got a whole bunch of things. You got the Fringe Festival going.
Yeah,
and I know I'm blanking right now. All sorts of other things.
Yeah,
it feels like it's the only sort of state capital that still attracts makers to it. I think. Like, I don't know whether that's a nature of it being a little bit more affordable to get studio spaces, or whether there's council initiatives or state government official initiatives. But yeah, it feels like there is a lot going on in Adelaide.
Yeah, there is. And I think affordability plays a big part, definitely. Mm-hmm. Being able to build your practice, not just run one, but be able to have time to build it. It takes a lot of time and money, as you all know. So having that chance to, have rent money for your studio and also for your home as well really helps. But I could ramble on about that for ages. But that definitely plays a big part. But then for me, coming here because of the Jam Factory, that is also another part of that as well. And the different disciplines that houses. And then, there's a plethora of other things as well that attracts people to this place. And it's been really good just to be amongst it all and being around, glass blowers and actual metal workers and welders and silversmiths and ceramicists as well, and just learning from them different techniques and processes and seeing how they develop and build their practice as well.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, if anyone's down in Adelaide, or at least we've given you a good reason to be down in Adelaide towards the end of August, go say hi and see some amazing pieces. I would say see if you can stick your head through your the lamp, but that's probably a bit frowned upon, hey?
Oh, you can try. I don't frown upon it. You can try, but if you break it, you bought it. So.
Good policy. All right. Well, thanks again, man. That was a really interesting story, and thanks for sharing your process with us. Really appreciate you coming on the show.
No, thanks for your time. Thanks for having me. Hopefully you can use any of that ramble, but it was great.
Awesome.
Definitely. Thank you, man.
All right. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.